We are live.
Hey.
I was all like looking, are you in your car or are you in a tent? I did let people know you were camping.
I'm in my car.
Nice. But you're not camping in your car. You're not.
No, not in my car. I'm camping at I'm literally in the foothills. I'm at the Archie and Janet Hogg Park.
Oh, I love Hogg Park.
Yeah, it's my first time camping here, and because usually I'm like in BC or I'm somewhere else or Sandy McNair, whatever. And this was close and it was cheap and it was available, and I came out and I wasn't expecting a lot, and then I got here, and it's like the most beautiful park in the world.
It's so beautiful. And I don't know, I mean, it's hot right now, so there's that possibility, but I don't know quite if you're ready. But they have great swimming holes in the river there. Like, it's beautiful. I feel like the river, though, still right now is like super glacial.
Yeah, I mean,
you could lose your body parts, but it is still going to be like 30 something today.
Well, you see, and I mean, last night we did dip, but it was certainly glacial runoff that was very muddy, but it didn't stop us. There was us and a few other people there, so.
Yeah, it's a great place. You're going to love it there this weekend.
Yes.
And what's nice is like, it's far enough away to feel like you're away, but close enough that you run out of supplies, you can get them.
That is exactly it, because I just work really part-time at a liquor store in Okotoks, and we ran out of liquor and I have to work today. And I said, I'll just bring liquor back with me. Like, it's so convenient.
Wow.
Right? Like an ice. I can get ice from the liquor store, and it's just so close. And Longview is like 10 minutes away. It's amazing.
I know.
Yeah. Best place.
Got all the things. You got all the things. Well,
exactly
good. We're just giving people another second to join us, and then we'll get started. Yeah. I'm on time, so people are not usually here right at 9 because I occasionally don't.
I get it. I always seem to see your stream on Twitter more than anywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Probably because I don't do much else on Twitter.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to be sassier on Twitter. Like,
I've dropped out again.
There you're back though.
Hi.
Hi.
Can
you hear me? You're good?
Oh my God, I can't hear you again.
What?
Oh no.
You know what you got to do. He'll be back. This is a part of stalling. Say hello in the comments as you join us for coffee this morning. We're so excited to have you here on Fun Friday.
Hi. Okay.
See, everything's good.
Everything's good. It's these dang alarms that I turned off, and I don't know why. I think it's the reminders like, hey, you're going to be really late now. And so.
Because I'm like, if you're texting Tom, stop. He's live right now.
Seriously. And I was going to share this and stuff, but I can't because I'm just not even going to take the chance.
Hi, Heather. Yeah, you can share it after the fact. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a hashtag replay over here. It's fine.
That's right.
Anyway, welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. We do this Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. Fridays are Fun Friday, where we get to introduce you to a special guest, a friend of the coffee club. And you've been on the list for a long time, my friend. So I'm so glad you're here. Friends, please welcome Tom Barker to Coffee Club.
Hey.
Hey, Jim.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Jody. You're truly the best. And
hi, Cheryl.
Oh my gosh, I see people rolling in from like
I know. New York. We got New York in the house. Hello.
Okay, New York. Okay.
Yeah. It's all over the place, Tom. We've got worldly people. Kind of exciting this morning. I can't wait to hear and find out. I was talking to a friend of mine from the UK last night, and he was being part of a stunt this morning they were doing on breakfast television in somewhere in the UK, and somewhere, I feel like Bristol, but I could be wrong, where they were having somebody walk a tightrope between two hot air balloons.
You know, wow.
We need to get him on the show. No offense, but like, I'm just like all morning, I'm like watching, like making sure there's no balloon crash news. Yeah.
Seriously, you know what? Honestly, give him my airtime, because I'm more suited to be the hot air balloon than to be walking between the two.
Can you imagine? Yeah. But anyway.
No, I can't imagine it. Like, no. But that's really interesting. You totally should get him on your show.
Yeah, we will. And before we dive into the awesome world of you, I just quickly want to give a shout out to Cadence, who was a past Fun Friday guest who hung out with us. You know Cadence Grace.
Yeah.
She was with Runaway Angel. She got her hip yesterday. So I just wanted to share, because I know our club has been sending her lots of great vibes. And so she said the journey took a little longer than she thought. It wasn't overly enjoyable, which, happens, but she's got that brand new hip this morning, and it's really exciting. So we just wanted to send her some love.
Oh my God. Okay. I love that. Yes.
Love her so much.
Oh my gosh. What a journey she's been on. Love it.
I know. It's crazy. But we get to focus on you today, which I'm so excited about. And I was trying to think of when we first met to share, and I was kind of blanking on it, but I think I remember now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell what I think my version is, and you tell me if I'm on board.
Okay.
So we met because of a mutual friend named Michaela Sheedy, who is an incredible country artist from Okotoks, Alberta. And she was singing in a Tim Hortons for like camp day or something. And I came in and I was there to broadcast, and I was like, damn girl, you're good. Like, what are you doing in the Tim Hortons? And so I invited her to come and be on my show. And she brought along her best friend, Tom. And in he came into my life, and we instantly fell in love.
Yes.
Would that be like on par?
That's exactly as I remember it.
Yeah.
It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was New Year's Day, 2015.
Oh, I remember us wearing like New Year's glasses or something in our first photo together.
Yes, that's exactly it. It was like, and the glasses said 2015. So I think it was, New Year's Day of 2015. Or New Year's Eve of 2014.
Yeah, one of those pieces.
Yeah.
But it was so good.
Which, I mean, I'll actually end out that little part with that. The day that I met you, I was 364 days out of the closet.
Shut up.
For real. So there you go.
That was fresh.
Yeah, little tidbit of information there. So you were right there on my 1 year. Wow. I know, right?
That was almost more exciting news than Michaela. Don't tell her I said that.
Oh my God.
We should have had you on the show instead of her. No,
oh my gosh, she is going to kill you and me if
and
we
I
start
haven't
talking
seen
like
her
that.
in a long time, so I deserve the killing. I get it. No, it was a package deal of awesome, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
And we've had the opportunity to work together on a number of different projects since 2015, but have always stayed fast friends. And I just appreciate you. So thank you so much for coming to hang out with us this morning.
Oh my gosh, the feeling's so mutual.
Oh, there. Mike LaBelle is like, so good to hear and see you, friend.
Hi, Mike. Oh my gosh, I miss Mike so much. I haven't seen Mike for so long.
It's been a while for you too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't even remember. I don't remember the last time I saw Mike.
No, I remember when you were part of Team Limelight one year at the ACMAs with us.
Yes, I remember that also. That was fun. It was really fun.
Feels like forever ago, but
it does.
One of the things I wanted, outside of just introducing you to the club and giving them the opportunity to get to know you a little better, I wanted to also have a bit of open conversation with you today, if you're up for it.
Yeah.
Which you usually always are. And we're going to tell people more about your podcast and how they can find it and all of these things in a moment. But we started, today's the 4th of June. So we're 4 days into what is called Pride Month. And I'm always excited for this month. I love seeing stories of this month. I love to share love in this month. But I've come to notice, and I think it's just the way the world is, like a lot of people don't understand why Pride Month is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes with a lot of what we've come through with COVID, when we've had lots of different, I guess, sort of movements and things of the world come up to light for us. We're in a place where we're having more conversation. So I wanted to talk today a bit about Pride Month and how that's important, and really just have a place of safe, open dialogue for people to be allies of that without feeling uncomfortable. Because I think that's what prevents people from just pushing through and just loving, is because they're not sure what to do or say. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people. I think the general public and the general consensus, you kind of nailed it there. Like, a lot of people want to support, but they don't want to seem performative. They don't want to seem like they love gays 30 days a year.
Yeah.
And they want to know more and they want to learn more, but they don't know how to approach the topic. And it's something that I've been really straight up with, is if you want to know something, ask. Yeah. Like, almost any person in our community will, like, they want to talk about it because they love talking about it. So like, especially for me, you know, like, if someone wants to know about why Pride Month is important, like, I'll tell them. It's because for so many years it started, you know, with the Stonewall Inn and Marsha P. Johnson and all of these people, that it's still important that we educate every June and that people still see that we're here and all of that. So to really shortly answer your question, yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that obviously there's a requirement to still have these conversations, because I met you at 364 days of being out of the closet, as they call it, or I don't even know if we use that terminology anymore, because I'm not sure why it was a closet. But anyway, for you coming out, but
for
you were
second,
not,
oh my God.
You were not 10 years old. Did I lose you again? Your alarms. Are you going to disappear and come back?
Oh no. Can I hear you?
He'll be right back. Technology while camping. And friends, I just want to say, if you have any questions or are curious about anything as Tom comes back in, feel free to post that in the comments. You know, Virtual Coffee Club is a safe space. So you're back. You can hear me.
You know what? Note to self, don't do this while I'm camping.
I know. We should have rescheduled, but whatever.
I'm so sorry.
It is. So the question I wanted to ask is that obviously there's a need to still have these conversations if people were unsure of it, because when I met you in 2015 and you are newly out to sharing who you truly are,
yeah,
that was when you were still what age? So how many years of you not living your authentic self did you live before doing that? Like, it was a lot.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I met you when I was probably like 18 or 19. I think was right about. I know. I was about 18, 19 when I met you, and I'm 26 now. So maybe actually it was about 2021. And yeah, there was a lot of years that, like, you kind of live in this proverbial closet. And I actually just did a workshop on this 2 days ago. Yeah. And where I kind of went like really, really into depth on this topic. But there was a lot of years there that were awful. And that in itself is a reason that Pride Month has to still exist. Because for me, although people see this like this crazy, outlandish, exciting, room light up type of person, it wasn't always like that. So if we can just shorten that gap between birth and authentic self, I think the world's going to be a much better place. And that right there is the reason that we still have to acknowledge Pride Month.
Yeah. Well, and the flip side, unfortunate, is that we lose so many incredible people every year in that gap.
Yeah.
We have people who take their lives because they don't know how to get out of the gap. And that's why we need to keep having those conversations. If nothing else, is so we stop losing people in that time frame. That was my heart.
Yeah, it's exactly it. I mean, literally in my workshop the other night, I presented these stats of suicide is the second is the second biggest cause of death in kids between 10 and 24. And of those kids, gay kids or LGBTQ youth are 3 times more as likely to contemplate suicide as straight kids. And so the stats themselves don't lie. Like, it's the reason that things like GLAAD and the Trevor Project and those sorts of things exist. And it's because it's not just for attention. Like these kids, some of them are in homes where parents every day are like, stop being such a faggot. And it's sad and it's awful, but it exists. These homes exist, these kids exist, and like we need to show them that there are people like me and like you out there that will help them. So
yeah, 100%. When did you, I don't know if it's realize or label it or know that that was your authentic self? How old were you?
I was young. Like I was probably 14 when I like acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Because there's always like you know, when you're kind of going through puberty and you're just kind of attracted to everything.
Yeah.
In that moment, like whatever you can
Your
get your rocks
pillow.
off with, you
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly it. And I probably was like 14 by the time I found out like what gay was, and I was like, oh, like, okay, I really relate to that. And so that's that. But of course, you don't just see something and you're like, okay, I'm gay now. I still dated a girl for another 3 years after that. Like, and then once I graduated high school, I was like, okay, I think I'm gay now.
Yeah.
So,
I got this. Well, and everybody's journey is different. I'm sure you've heard lots of stories from different people in the community of different timeframes when it became really clear, or people who don't have that defined gender specific attraction label anymore. Like there's so much sexual fluidity in the world, which I think some people find confusing. I think is beautiful. Like,
yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that I say to a lot of people is that you don't have to get it. You truly don't have to get it. We are people who are non-binary or don't subscribe to a specific gender norm or have a different gender identity than you or than I or than anybody else. They're just living their life authentically. And that is the only way that you and I get to see that.
Yeah.
Right? We don't get to see it any other way other than you're always welcome to sit at my table. And that's the most important part, right?
Yeah. So let's go to a real basic moment in it. So I know, because we have people that join our coffee club from all over, and I have no idea people's knowledge of this topic. So let's start with, because I know lots of times people are like, what do the letters stand for?
Okay.
We don't know how many there is or what to say. And sometimes if you know what words you're giving the letter to, it helps you to say that better as an ally.
Totally. I mean, there's a few different variations. I mean, there's the LGBTQIA, there's LGBTQ2S+, which is the one personally that I prefer. And LGBTQ2S+ is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LGBT, queer, and then 2S+. So 2S means two-spirit. And I'm not necessarily the one to educate on this, but it is Indigenous, First Nations. It's I believe, and I think if anybody's out there who is Indigenous, maybe this is a better one to ask, but my basic understanding of it is that there's a belief that's rooted in the most powerful ones in the tribe take traits of both male and female energy. And it's something along those. I'll find a better thing and I'll send it to you. You can share it with your group, but that's two-spirit. It's awesome. And then plus is a bit more of an all-encompassing term for once you get into things like intersex and demisexual and pansexual, asexual, and all of those sorts of things. There's just so many that plus is kind of like, here's a list, find your place.
There's a place for you.
Exactly.
But if we gave all the letters, we'd be here all day. And exactly. I think what's nice about that is that there's a place for you, regardless of which one you're identifying with.
And I mean, that's exactly it. I think that there's also there is a lot of erasure in the community as well. Like, I mean, usually if you say, oh, I'm asexual, they're just like, oh, well, that's just because you can't get any. And that's not it. There's a lot of it's within the community. It's judgmental in the community as well. But at least at my table, and at least in the tables that I sit at, every person sits at my table, regardless.
Well, yeah, where do we get off the judgment of that we get to define something we don't even know or understand or could even relate to. It's like, I like how you always say you don't have to get it, because I think we hear a lot, and you were part of the Okotoks Pride group who recently got the approval to get a rainbow sidewalk in your community, and I'm so freaking excited. I have wanted to see that in my community for some time now. We've been working on it. Hopefully High River's next. But I've heard lots of people say, well, why do you even need one? Same as probably why is Pride Month? But I'm sure you've heard that a lot. What do you say to people who say, well, like, why do you need a rainbow sidewalk?
It
Oh,
gosh, Jesus. Oh Lord, let me pop in.
I love this. Heather, I'm going to ask Tom your question in a moment. Everybody else, if you have a question, pop it in the comments.
Hi. Okay,
you're back.
I'm back. So I don't know why my phone's just like, you're going to be late for your show with Jody. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm here. So it's just ridiculous. The importance of a Pride crosswalk is not because we want to ram it down your throat. We don't want to do that. What it does is when a kid or when someone young is going on a walk with their parents, with their family, because that's the only time during a pandemic that you can get outside, that child will see that flag, or that young person will see that flag and know that there are other people in the community exactly like them. And it's the biggest thing when it comes to things like crosswalks. It's not for us. It's for the people that still haven't found their place yet. And it's a good gesture for Okotoks and for many other communities where they can say, you are welcome here. And if you do see this, please know that we're welcome, or we're welcoming you into our community. And so I think the same actually could be said for Pride Month. Someone said to me the other day that Pride Month isn't for gay people. It's for education, and it's for people who aren't part of our community. It's so that we can try to bridge the gap, right? It's when Pride celebration comes around. So in September for us, that's for us. But in June, it's so that we can help to do things like this. It's to educate.
Yeah.
Right.
When I shared a graphic on my social media the other day that I really liked, saying that gay pride wasn't born to celebrate being gay, but our right to exist without persecution. So instead of wondering why there isn't a straight pride movement, just be thankful you don't need one.
Well, and that's exactly it.
And that spoke volumes to me, because I'm like, yeah, actually, it all falls into why we have movements of all different kinds. It's about that education, and
that's exactly it.
Not knowing what it feels like.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging that I hate that this word gets thrown around so much, but it's about acknowledging the little bit of privilege that's there.
Yeah.
But it's also about acknowledging history. I mean, police raided Stonewall 51 years ago, and we fought back for the first time. And that's what Pride Month is about. It marks the day that Marsha P. Johnson, a transgender woman of color, threw the first rock, or through one of the first rocks. She's not the only one, but there's a group of them. And Marsha P. Johnson is credited with beginning the Pride movement. And so it's about supporting her legacy, because she was found dead in the Hudson like a week or so later. And the police said, we're not going to investigate it. Whatever, let her go. And so it's stories like that started Pride that still need to be remembered 51 years later. Right. And it's exactly the reason why a year ago, when the George Floyd killing happened, and Breonna Taylor and all of those people of color down in the States, where we said, here's Pride Month, educate, have it, it's yours, because that's part of our legacy too, right, as a community. So we have to stand there. And it's the exact same thing when Pride Month started this year, when they found 215 Indigenous kids in the ground. And so it's the exact same thing there. Here is Pride Month. Use it. We have built this and we fought for this. We want to make sure that all our brothers and sisters at the table get a chance to use it. So Sorry, I just went off on a little tangent there, but it's important to note those things.
Your tangents are why you're here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we need, and we don't always know. And especially I think that if you're somebody who is completely straight and you've had really straight circles, you don't get the opportunity to learn and know from authentic source. And I think too, if you're somebody who has, I mean, we've all been touched or have friends or people in our world who are exploring their sexuality, and we just have to love them through that. And when you have never felt that way or been in that situation, you just don't know. And like you said, you don't have to understand it. You just have to be fucking kind. Sorry, I had to swear today. I know I only normally swear on Wednesday, but just be kind, for crying out loud.
Literally so true. I mean, you really nailed it on the head. Like, love me through it.
Yeah.
That is a mandate that I live by as well. No matter what you are going through, it's a thing actually in my workshop the other night was your inner circle. Build your inner circle, keep your inner circle close, and love each other through everything.
Through everything.
Right? Yeah. So you nailed
it. Tom, do you find that it was more difficult to declare your authentic self coming from a smaller town?
Yes. Because I was born and raised in England, so I moved here in 2008, and so not only was I in a smaller town, but I also barely knew anybody. I knew people by the point that I came out, but I basically started my life again when I was 12, and then kind of realizing at 14 and then coming out at 18. Yes, very much so. It is hard in a smaller town, which is why, again, we come back to the things like crosswalks and that sort of stuff. But even just 4 weeks ago, I was at work and someone said, like, we don't want queers selling us beer. So those things don't stop happening once you come out. That's a big thing to note, is that those things do still happen. It's still very prevalent, but yes, it was difficult to come out. But now that I'm here, I have found an incredible community of people. Like Jody, you being one of them, right? Like, there is a difference between a performative ally and an actual ally, and you are a true ally. We've been talking about rainbow crosswalks for years, right? Yeah. So yes, in short, or in long answer, yes, it was quite difficult.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, if it probably, depending on people's family situations or whatever, it's probably always difficult. And I think that's the thing to me, is I would love a world where it's not difficult anymore, outside of maybe you have your own internal struggle of that, and that's always going to happen for people. But wouldn't it be so beautiful if it wasn't a struggle? If it just was what it is, and we didn't, almost like we didn't have to talk about it if we didn't want to, because it's just the way we are.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So beautiful.
Exactly. A lot of it comes from inside the home.
Mm-hmm.
It starts the day that child is born, right? Like, it is, and I mean, there's many responsibilities as a parent, so I don't expect this one to be high on anybody's list, but it's high on my list, and I expect it to be high on my friends' lists if you run in my circle. But it's about creating a space where your child feels comfortable, or anybody in your life feels comfortable, to be like, this is my boyfriend. And you're like, cool. Like, it's about that. So not necessarily that, I over here have to create a safe space for you. It's that it starts in the home.
Yeah. Well, I know that I parent that way, and not everybody does. And I, again, pass no judgment, but, as my son is approaching puberty years, Lord help me, I've already started with, is there anybody at school that you think is really cute? Boy, girl, otherwise.
Yes.
And I always bring up both, and he'll just be like, Mom,
yeah,
I don't like anyone. And I'm like, awesome. Let's stay there. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But we had a great conversation. And I think what's also an interesting example, which I don't know if this helps people or not, but we would watch, I've had people say to me in my life, in different circles of, why do there always have to be a gay character on a television show? Or why do they have, people get this weird mentality, and we know they're out there, and that's why we keep having conversation, is to break is, well, why wouldn't there be? But anyway, my son and I were watching a show. Did you leave us? His darn alarms. Kelly, you can always catch up, girlfriend. No worries. Okay, you're back.
Hi.
We went over time, so now we'll go fast so that we can stop before the next alarm. But
Sure. I just went in and was like, now stop. So you're good.
I was watching a television show with my son, and it was Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Judge me as a parent later if you want. But what I loved about this show is that the police captain in this show is a gay man of color.
Yes.
And one of the detectives is bisexual. And they talked about those relationships a lot on the show. And we thought it was a funny show. Caden really was into it for a while, but we'd have great conversation, because then he was like, so what exactly does bisexual mean again, Mom? And so then I would explain that she loves both men and women and it's whatever. And he was like, that's cool. And he talked, and we got to have authentic, real conversations where he could ask questions and feel safe about and why he loves it. And we've had beautiful conversations about, he's like, well, why can't people just love who they want to love, Mom?
Yeah.
And I said, they can, but we just got to help people realize that. And so I love that we can have these opportunities so we can teach that.
That's exactly it. I mean, you have always been a beautiful facilitator for these sorts of things, like since the day I met you. I think we have a lot of very similar qualities, me and you.
Yeah. We're kindred spirits.
100%. 100%. I mean, but I think it really is as simple as that. I don't think that your skills of facilitating are anything that another parent can't do, right? It's just having a conversation. And I'll like, it is getting better. I will admit that. Like, there is so many kids out there now that, I mean, even we see it as a Pride committee in Okotoks, the amount of people that we see and we talk to and we hang out with and stuff like that. It's beautiful. And so a lot of parents, I think, need to take some pointers from you, Miss Jody. But
I don't know about that,
but we're getting there. The world is moving faster than it was.
Well, and I think what we need to acknowledge too is that there's a lot of us in this world, and I know there's somebody watching who probably feels this way, is that you have that judgment or that uncertainty or the feeling of not knowing how to feel about it because you are foundationally taught something.
Yeah.
And that can come from when we have conversations about Pride Month, about Black Lives Matter, about Indigenous, about anything. You can really put anything about sex in general, right? We are taught things foundationally.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But where it comes to our personal responsibility, my feeling is you have to work through where you want your foundation to be and what you're going to grow. And you have to break down the shit that you were taught if it's not in alignment with who you truly are. And it's not easy. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, we all need to just change tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I know foundationally, I was brought up with some very differing opinions on a number of these topics.
Yeah.
And I won't allow it to be my foundation or my son's, right? So it's taking that personal responsibility to be a lover of love and just be like, I've said to people through all the things, even through this weird COVID-ness we all have, the weird divide that's happening. It's like, don't be a dick. That's it. Just don't be a dick and continue to be kind. And that's all we need. And I'm not preaching to you because, I just want to say you do you. But that's always been my feeling that I will always share. And I don't know if Tom will come back. What happened with his phone there? The shirts are coming. I have partnered up with Diamond Embroidery in High River. Doesn't matter where you're watching from, you could still get your hands on one. But we have created some fun Don't Be a Dick t-shirts that are going to be up on my socials very soon. So look forward to that. But let's just take a moment and thank Tom so very much for being a part of Fun Friday. Again, I'm not sure if he's coming back in. Tom also has a great podcast show. So we will post the link for that into the comments also if you want to check it out. He's covered a bunch of different topics. I know that he, on his social media too, I mean, he's somebody that you can follow, that you can connect to, that you could reach out and ask a question to if you're curious about something, because he's really just an advocator of education, of what that looks like. And yeah, that's what I think about that. There you are.
Hi, I'm so sorry. This time was not my alarm. My phone was just like, hi, I'm too hot now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm like, it might have died, and I get that. Quickly, what's the name of your podcast?
Okay, so my podcast is called Tom Weekly. It usually comes out every week. However, with COVID, I'm finding it a bit difficult to have people on the show, just because I wasn't built for that right away. So I am now. So I do have a lineup of guests that are coming, but it's called Tom Weekly. You can find it Spotify, Apple Music, all of those places that you find podcasts.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's there. There's a few really cool episodes up right now, including one called it's called The Balance of an Emotional Roller Coaster, I think, or something like that. And that one is I don't know if you've heard it or not, but it's basically a 20-minute long kind of essentially rant from me about it's about how I give so much of myself to other people, and I have to stop doing that. I have to start saying no, and I have to start focusing on me and my shit, and things like that. And so it's really interesting, but you can find it all there. It's all up there online and all of that jazz. So
that's because you're approaching your 30s now, friend. Like, this is
yeah.
And then you step into your 40s and you're like, I got this shit.
Yeah,
kind of.
Seriously,
we still freak out. I'm like, I feel so old now, but you're coming along, little grasshopper. You're doing so well.
Well, I just love you, my mama Jody.
Yeah, I love you also. And I thank you so much. We did go over our 20 minutes. So I apologize. We had a longer coffee today, but that's what Fridays are about sometimes. But I just appreciate your beautiful, loving, authentic self, Mr. Tom. And I love you with all my heart. And I appreciate that you help to educate the rest of us so that we can be like, I'm always like, I want to be like the Care Bears, where we're like, Care Bear stare. And it's like, I want rainbows of love shooting out of my belly at all times.
I do for the most part, because I've got my girls, my belly down here, and my girls up here, and they do. Yeah, I want us to be Care Bears all the time.
I feel like, honestly, like, if you were to ask and I was going to be really truthful, I want rainbows to shoot out of all orifices of mine, but maybe that's too far on a Friday. But
you know what? It's Friday. Whatever.
We got this.
It's just so easy for us to talk. So
when you were off, I let people know that they could find you on socials, check out the podcast. If anybody ever has a question, to reach out, because you're a great educator and there's never judgment, because no question, there's no bad questions. If it's going to lead you to a place of understanding and compassion, there is no bad questions.
And that's exactly it. When someone comes to me and has a question, or if you go to anybody and you have a question about the community or what's happening or Pride Month or Pride history, and they snap at you or they don't give you a useful, interesting answer, then they are not worth having that conversation. Don't feel like just because they're the only gay person in your life or the only person part of the LGBTQ2S+ community that they are the only ones with answers. And you're right. I'm literally available whenever you can. Whoever, if you have a question or whatever, call me, email me, text me, beat me, whatever. Because I would love to talk always. So, yeah.
Appreciate that.
That's so easy.
I just put the LGBTQS. That's hard to say, plus in the comments so that people can see that one, copy and paste it if you want. I would implore you, encourage you, cheerlead you to post something about it on your social media this month if you're comfortable, just to show that support and to show your education, because you never know who is going to see that, who just needs to know that there's some acceptance in the world, because there could be someone in your life who is holding hard onto that secret and is scared to say it out loud and might be thinking darkness is the only option. And we're just here to tell you it is not. And you are loved.
It is that you absolutely nailed it. And if you do want to learn a bit more about Pride Month, you can check out the Trevor Project. They're a fabulous foundation that are worldwide. And also, if you just want to do a little bit of learning from yourself, go onto Netflix and watch The Life and Death of Marsha P. Johnson.
Okay.
I'll send it to you, Jody, and I'll put it in the comments of this video when I see it later. It explains the story that I was explaining earlier of Marsha P. Johnson and how she was one of those integral movements in Stonewall 51 years ago. So that's it. I'm done. I got nothing else to plug.
All right, friend. I'll let you get back to your camping and relaxing. Thank you again for finding a signal and checking in with us this morning. And
I love you.
Just so excited to talk to you. You'll be back. You'll be a character that will be back. So it'll be awesome. All right, friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. Have an amazing rest of your Friday. Cheers to you. Bye, everybody.